Greetings and welcome, folks. Today we're having a look at the demo for Plentiful, a game that has been, well, I've been asked to play this game for some time, and well, my apologies to the developer for taking so long to get to it. I had it initially reviewed, had a look at it back early in November, and wasn't entirely convinced by the concept then, so I put it on my I'll get to this pile. Then I was asked again later, and unfortunately it coincided when Capital Architects wanted to make their push for their demo release, which I felt was a little bit more urgent. What is Plentiful? Plentiful is a god game, a spiritual successor to the old god games of old. Not specifically know any of them by heart, but I'm gonna guess something similar to Populous. And I'm guessing it's kind of like that. Well, to be honest, I have never really played any god games like that. I mean, I have played god games like Black and White, for instance, but this is nothing like that, in a way. But you play in a world where everything is made out of these hexagonal tiles, and you have to look after a tribe of golden people. You need to feed them, keep them alive, and they will multiply. Yeah, initially I wasn't really sold entirely on the premise of this game, just based on the information that I got, because, I mean, sure, the soundtrack is composed by Jukio Kallio, apparently is part of Dave the Diver and Fall Guys. I have played neither of those. And the person developing the game was the tech director for GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and GTA 4, which I've also never played, so can't really base it on that. Aside from that, I don't really know what a tech director does. My best guess is that a tech director knows how a game engine works and is able to translate the game concepts into mechanics that will work with the engine, and then instruct or direct developers to implement those mechanics properly. Best guess, at least. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Enough waffling about me. Let's start a new game. So I have played through all the scenario the levels. Tutorial is very basic but serviceable. Snake pit, basically you have to guide your people across an area filled with snakes that will kill your people, and then set up make sure that they survive. Oasis, I don't recall exactly. Islands is a very uninteresting puzzle where you have to lead a couple of people, or you have to lead your person via breadcrumbs to certain beacons across the map, which I'm sure would be very fine, but also it was a pain to do, let's put it that way. So we'll be playing the Highlands today. The scenario I've already finished, but it'll be easy. The objective here is to grow your tribe to 10 people. They provide plenty of fruit trees for food. Enough? Let's pause the game for a bit. We have a lot of place to work with. Growing food relies heavily on the interaction between water and mud, essentially. So that is what we'll be focusing on. We're just looking for a good place to settle. Now we have 5,000 points. Let's use these to spend them in the shop to purchase anything we want in these trees, although some things are locked behind seasons or the amount of people you have. Plunking down humans is very expensive, so we want to hold off on that until we are fully set up, or at least partially set up doing stuff. the kind of looking for a lot of flat terrain that I can easily interact with. I can dig out a canal. Thinking over here is probably fine. Okay, so gonna make use of this pond and this pond. And see if we can make all of this a little bit more fertile. Okay, as you can see, this is water streaming down into lake areas. Because it's rain, some tiles will get wet. Let's actually... this. Moving tiles cost points. See? Light canal, which will then guide over to the other side. That should give us more than enough space to work with. Want to make very fertile terrain before I start doing anything else. All this mud that we have managed to stack up from before. Game is telling us to build some fruit trees, and I will want to do that, but we will need a fully surrounded mud pile for that. And plant pear tree over here. Meantime, put up some duckweed over there. Lakeweed over here. That can grow on its own for a bit. Set up some orange trees over on this side. will take a while to grow. Apple tree over here. Basically, I want to get rid of stone next to the water. I want to turn it into fertile land. These reeds make sure that water will not overflow over a certain area. And we can also plant some grass. Apple. Hope I did this right. If I did it right, then they should all be able to grow. Set up a root system. Once they do that, trees will grow indefinitely and give me a more than enough supply. You don't need to technically do all this prep work, because for the initial settlement of your tribe, you can make do with just little amounts of supplies. Also set up melons. It will take a few seasons for your trees to grow, though. I guess I can't move these. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe we should have done that the other way around. Pear tree. Okay, we are starting to run a little bit low on supplies now. We've yet to get any people. Let's start getting ready for that. In order to get people, we will need to build some houses, or hollows at least, which is indicated by having this. 3 spaces of this with a roof overhead. And the game gives you a fair bit of interpretational space on what can be a house. As you can see. Alright, let's purchase our first human. Now, in order for the humans to work, they need food. Get food. You just need to drop it into the world, really. A piece of food just draws all the water out of tiles and grows. And you need to bury it, otherwise the people will just take the food off of the floor, which is fine, but not what we want. Okay, so this tree is functional. Not the right season for it, but it works. goes. We eat a melon, or a pumpkin, which gives us points. Very greedy. I might have put these trees too close together. I can move them about. Yeah, the game is fully functional in many ways that, you know, could be interesting. Not sure I find it all that interesting. He is fully fed and sheltered, so he can now start reproducing via mitosis. Or parthenogenesis, I'm not entirely sure how these people work. I just know that if they're well fed, they reproduce. Nothing grows in winter, really, so could be a problem. But she still has food, so we can probably survive the winter well enough. Yeah, of all the things I can purchase for them, the worms, I'm not entirely sure what I can do with them. I mean, I guess they are some sort of food? But it's not really explained what worms do. And they can be squished when it rains. Yeah, I'm not really ever really paying that much attention to the worms. Let's speed the winter up a little bit. That food meter is going to go down. The duckweed grows. I mean, I do intend to put some fish in here and some ducks in there, but that can wait until we are a little bit more settled. We are at least back into the next spring. We have a tornado coming in somewhere. A couple of times about. Springtime. And here we have first child. Let us create some food for the happy people. We'll begin populating some fish. Now, it's good to understand that there's a difference between the food from the trees and the food that we grow in soil. Your people will want both, or more than that. They will also possibly want some food from your animals, but that's kind of tricky to do. Very greedy. Looks like I did plant them a little bit too close together. No matter, we can solve that. The melons are also growing quite nicely. I don't want to overstress my food supply just yet. I could get another human in here, but let's be a little bit more careful there. And let's just create a little bit more farmland for us to use. That's moving into summer. Let's get some eggplants going. Right. Another person in the tribe. We need to start creating some more housing. Okay, they're filled up. The trees are starting to drop their food. Let's get a couple of ducks in here. The fish are also growing nicely. More eggplants. You are grown. You apparently still cannot grow. Your root system is now fully taken hold. The melons are growing nicely. Should have plenty of food. You need to be replanted somewhere else. Need a little bit more space for the trees over here. But overall, we've got a nice orchard going, so we're all good. Now, this is a fairly alright game loop as it is, you know, bonking down fruit trees and feeding people. I'm kind of wondering, then what? The humans that really don't do anything. They just eat and multiply. Eat and multiply. Until every resource is consumed, and that's... Essentially, we're just growing viruses here. I'm not entirely sure is the point. Well, we have points, let's just put in a worm. Looks like they're all happily feeding on the apples though, so good. You have also taken full root. And we should have enough. Right, we still have one that is not fully grown. I put it a little bit too close. We need to move you. Get it out of the way. Plenty of water to go around. The weeds will keep the water in check so it doesn't overflow. Okay. Get some more housing set up. Not too short. There you go. This is getting way too much effort. There we go. 3 more houses. And let's speed things along a little. And it looks like all of our peeps are currently doing fine. And, oop, they just grew up. I mean, they will need to be fed more later, but now absolutely fine. Like one of they didn't eat everything. I'd not consider that possibility. What's that? Oh, we got a volcano over there. Neat, but fortunately far enough away from us that we don't worry about it. I mean, it does kind of feel like I'm playing with just a couple of lizards in a terrarium. But obviously, the world map is quite a bit bigger than that. Up to 4 folks. 5 folks, actually. Cool. We can start using the better carrots. Start getting some rabbits to deal with the grass. It's kind of funny how they eat. We might need some more ducks. Yeah, I've not really found a limit to how many ducks I need to keep the duckweed in check. But it's quite a lot of ducks. Cozy house. We're almost done with the scenario. Okay, got the locust coming in. That is not great. I do find it kind of a neat feature that the ducks fly away in the fall. We need to return into the spring. Not entirely sure where they go on the map. Never really been invested enough to follow them. Probably could do with one more house. don't want to dig down. There come the locusts. There. One extra house. Well, if they're not gonna find any food in the winter, I think, so they probably just die away. And the only food in the winter could possibly be the animals. I think we have enough animals for that. I didn't really set up for it. I mean, the fish, possibly, because they will have been going nuts with all the stuff here. Right. And some potential for disease. Right. And now we have got more than enough people. The victory bar starts to go. And just that. You do stuff while the time is moving forward. Yeah, we might want to build a second canal over here so we can irrigate more land. Feed more people. But it looks like people are gorging themselves on melons. Yay! And we got the victory astral bird. Okay, and that is pretty much it. We passed! And there's a couple of extra things you can do, but screw it. We're done here for today. Anyway, that has been my look at Plentiful. It's okay game. I don't mind it. But there's definitely not enough in it for me to really care at the moment. And I'm kind of curious as to if there's going to be any more mechanics beyond just endlessly feeding your people. Because with 10 people, okay, yeah, still kind of doable. But once you start getting up to higher levels, usually in God games, yeah, there is a certain amount of babysitting I need to do with my people, obviously. But they do start doing stuff for themselves more and more as time moves on. Start making their own little farms, their own little shelters. And so far, these creatures don't do that. And not that big a fan of just babysitting these innocent looking things. Anyway. That's yeah, I'm sure. That's been my look at Plentiful. The demo is currently available on Steam if you wish to check it out for yourself. You can figure out how to do stuff better than me. Go right ahead. Always ready to be proven wrong about certain something. And I hope you enjoyed. See you all next time. Bye.